When it was announced that Netflix was going to be doing the Chronicles of Narnia, it already had a lot of people worried, considering what we've seen Netflix do with other properties that people really care about. But then, when it was again announced that Greta Gerwig would take over the Chronicles of Narnia film series at Netflix, had a lot of people very worried. Because, it's one thing for Greta Gerwig, renowned feminist, to have her input in something like Barbie, which, a lot of women were receptive to that. Or, of course, for Little Women, something like that. These properties that are exclusively appealing to women. It's another thing to let her take over the legendary Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. And one of the first updates we got about this also didn't feel so great. Chronicles of Narnia producer says Greta Gerwig has a very new take that's all about rock and roll. Now, I don't know if you could ever describe the Chronicles of Narnia and rock and roll in the same sentence without it sounding like they don't belong together. Probably because they don't. But this is what Amy Pascal said not that long ago. It's a very new take on Narnia. It's all about rock and roll, teased Pascal. And then she mentioned that it's about to start production sometime in 2025. Well, we're here in 2025, so it's about to start production, ramp up production in the next couple months. So they're starting to look for the cast for Chronicles of Narnia. And then a story came out over a week ago. Right? This is from March 31st is when I tweeted this out. Meryl Streep is rumored to have been offered the role of Aslan in Greta Gerwig's Narnia film. Now, this was from Nexus Point News, an exclusive from Nexus Point News. So how seriously am I supposed to take it? I don't know. Discussing Film tweeted about it. I had to take a picture of this and post it because they blocked me like the pussies that they are. But I simply said, if this is real, holy fuck. Because what an insane thing that would be to gender swap Aslan, who is essentially a stand-in for Jesus Christ in the world of Narnia. That's what this is. We know of all the Christian themes that appear throughout the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. And Lewis specifically said it's more than just an allegory. It's like a supposition of what Christ would have been in this world. That's what Aslan is supposed to represent. And you're going to fucking gender swap Aslan? That's one of the first things, the first casting we hear about this. Well, then a few days later, it started getting reported from a lot of other sources. Meryl Streep in talks to play Aslan in Greta Gerwig and Netflix's Narnia movie. Oscar winner Meryl Streep is in talks to play Aslan, the Great Lion, in Greta Gerwig and Netflix Narnia movie, we've confirmed with sources. We understand they're not quite at the offer stage yet. However, in the novels, Aslan is a talking lion who serves as Narnia's guardian and a guide for the human children. Generally portrayed as a male, Aslan was created as an allegory for Jesus by author C.S. Lewis. What is this? Generally portrayed as a male? How about always portrayed as a male? Isn't it one of probably the most iconic standout moments when Aslan essentially has his mane cut off? You know what? You couldn't do that to a female lion. You wouldn't be able to cut off a female lion's mane, would you? Generally portrayed as male. What are you smoking? Aslan is male. Aslan is a male lion. And yes, a stand-in for Jesus Christ in this story. And this is the first bit of casting news that we received. Now, they are being very transparent that, hey, they haven't heard this is confirmed. This is just something that they're talking about doing. How stupid can you be? How fucking retarded can you be? And what are we going to do here, right? We can't have a story in Greta Gerwig's world, right? We can't have a story about an evil female antagonist and a male hero. We can't have that. We need to do something to change that. I don't know what the motivations are here. Liam Neeson's still alive, still kicking, still doing things, still out there. I feel like he might be a good voice actor. I don't know if he'd be comfortable playing Aslan. Oh, well, he already has. Right? He played Aslan in the movies, the movies that were made, my gosh, at this point, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I don't even remember when the first Chronicles of Narnia movie with him as the voice of Aslan came out. But you know what? I think you can find some better people than a woman. Meryl Streep, I don't care how many Oscars you've won. I don't care how notable you are. Aslan shouldn't be portrayed as female. Yet this is the first thing we hear about Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia movie. Now, we don't even know yet if Lion Witch of the Wardrobe is going to be the first. They might do The Magician's Nephew first. That might be one of the things we've heard out there as well, which would be an interesting way. I mean, a lot of people say, hey, you should do chronological order. I've always thought that'd be a difficult thing to tackle. To get people invested in that first movie to get them to come to the next one. I always thought that would be a difficult thing to tackle, but it's certainly something a lot of people have asked for, a chronological adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia, not in publishing order, but instead the chronological order of the world. But if this is the first thing we're hearing, how bad is this going to be? You know, a lot of people made jokes about Chronicles of Narnia on Netflix, and, you know, Netflix version of Aslan, they would just do an all black lion as a joke. Those people didn't even think it was going to be ridiculous enough that we would get a female Aslan. But apparently, here we are with Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia on Netflix. If they go through with this, it was already, look, rock and roll adaptation of Chronicles of Narnia, already probably going to be a stinker. If they go through with this, I feel like it's going to be an unmitigated disaster.